Story time. September 2004, I was living in Pensacola, Florida, and we had a hurricane arrive. I worked in healthcare, of course, and working in healthcare, you always have teams. So the teams are A and B team, which means that one team is to stay at the facility during the event, in this case, a hurricane, and the other team gets to go home, but they're supposed to come in after the event and relieve the team that's at the facility. So at this particular facility at this time, I actually was on the B team, which meant I had the option of staying at the facility or going home, because they did tell us that although we were on the B team, we could stay at the facility and ride out the storm at the facility. Of course, I'm connected to God. I said, no, I'll be safer at my house. And people were like, what? You're going to go stay at a house instead of a reinforced hospital? I said, yes. And if I would have stayed at the facility, I would have been limited as to who I could take with me. So I could take my son, but I essentially could not take the rest of my family because they were limited in space. And that was not going to work for me. So, fast forward, the hurricane hits. Before the hurricane hit, I went to sleep. And let me give you roll back. I went home in preparation for the hurricane coming. And God spoke to me and told me to cover all of my windows with the Star of David. And I had between 32 and 37 windows. I forget now because it is more than 20 years ago. I did not have Star of David in like a emblem. So I went and got masking tape and covered all of my windows, all 32 or 37 of them, with the Star of David symbol. And I told my mom, I said, hey, cover your windows with the Star of David. I was like, this is akin to in the Bible when there's going to be a disaster or poisonous situation, for God to look over you and spare you. Now, mind you, September 2nd, 2024 was the day all of this started. September 2nd, 2024 was a combination of a 9 energy, which is about endings and spiritual lessons, and a 2 energy, which is about relationships, and a 6 year, which is about family. The 6 and the 2 together was an 8. So that particular day was about financial situations and poisons. And this is also dangerous things occurring, mismanagement of funds and things of that nature. So this ended up being a very expensive storm for Pensacola. Lots of damage, lots of tornadoes, we were without power for like 2 weeks. Okay. Which was the longest time we had been without power from a hurricane in a while at that time. So, fast forward, I did all of that. I went to the bank and got cash out. And not just a little cash, a lot of cash. Because that was the other thing that was dropped in my spirit. You're going to need cash. So I did that. And I had a little generator already, but not a big one. And I had a little outdoor grill, a small one. And I had a portable washing machine, and I'm a scientist, so I had bleach that I would know to be able to bleach the water when things come back. So anyway, I'm in the house, and in my house, the backyard was a lot of trees. Fence on the backyard was completely fenced. The front yard was not. In the front of the yard, I had a Christmas tree, and I had a tall pine tree. So I go to sleep, lying down, enjoying the hurricane as far as the wind and the howling. I found so much peace in that. And I woke up. And I woke up because I could literally hear the trees snapping. And I went outside and I watched it. And I was almost tearful because I was like, it's so beautiful to watch God work, as far as the strength and the power that I saw, and the ability of the trees, which are so strong that you and I can't just push over, just being snapped in half. So When these trees snapped in half, I saw one tree fall into my neighbor's house across the street from me. I saw another tree fall into a neighbor's house cat a corner from me. And then I went back and laid back down. And I woke up again and heard some more noise. And I looked and saw a tree from my neighbor's yard had snapped, and it was an oak tree. And I was like, oh my God, because we were really close neighbors. Fast forward, storm ends, everything. I go outside. There's trees everywhere. The 5 houses around me, my neighbor to the left, my neighbor to the right, the 3 houses in front of me, all had trees in their roof. I mean, like water coming through kind of trees in the roof. My neighbor had his oak tree came down, and the way the oak tree broke, it was going to hit both of our houses. My pine tree caught the oak tree and prevented it from destroying my roof. My pine tree caught the oak tree and prevented it from destroying. Maybe you didn't hear me. My pine tree, the thin tree, caught the oak tree and prevented it from destroying my roof. But the oak tree did destroy my neighbor's roof. And it came down on my fence, which wasn't so bad. It wasn't much damage. My ex-husband and I were able to repair that easily. So, when all of this was done, of course, I had the Star of David up. And I was like, well, thank you, God. Because as I drove down the street, there were trees down everywhere. There was trees in people's homes. There was so much damage. And my house had like a few splinters of wood off. And this is where I say obedience is better than sacrifice, because when you are given instruction, you must follow the instruction. I followed the instruction. Now, I did tell a couple other people about putting the Star of David up, and a couple other people said to me, that was old time. That was in them Bible days. And they did have some problems with their home. Side note. So let's get to the next part of the story. I ended up going back to work, or at least I thought I was going to go back to work. I did make it there. When I went there, that hospital where I worked had been hit by a tornado. Part of the laboratory area was flooded out. A lot of destruction had occurred at that hospital and several other hospitals that did not occur at my house. So would I have wanted to be in a hospital in the middle of the night when a doggone tornado come through and hit it and tear the side of the doggone building face off? No, I would not have. No, I would not have. And everybody was talking about the damage that they received. And we had, I believe, 7 tornadoes touch down in Pensacola. You can look it up to get the exact number, which 7 is another spiritual number. That's a whole nother thing. We can get into that at a different time. And for 2 weeks, we were without power. And that 2-week time, because I had cash, I was able to go to the stores because they were only taking cash and purchase things and set things up, set fans up and different things in a window air conditioner, which was very important, even though I had central heating air. And I'll have my different family members come stay with me because my house was big enough to have several people stay with me. And we all made a little patty kind of area. So we had food. They gave us MREs. I had the ability to use my mini grill to boil water, add the bleach in it so that we can drink it because the tap water was not safe to drink. And for 2 weeks, although we did not have power and stuff because I had been homeless growing up, I was also comfortable with taking cold showers and how to boil water, all that kind of stuff. So the purpose of this story is to tell you that when I tell you that there's something that you need to use, that you need to put this over your door or you need to do that because danger is coming, you might want to listen or not. Y'all have a great day.